I've made two different videos on how to set your saddle height. One is the heel method, the other one is the 109% method. Both of those methods are going to get you very close to the optimal height for maximum power transfer, with perhaps a little tweaking after you get your saddle height with those methods. The third and final method that I'll show you is one that's slightly more involved in that it requires a goniometer or angle tool, and it requires an assistant to help you out. Now these can be had on Amazon for about $7, so they're not very expensive. You can buy a more bike specific one, which is going to be more expensive, but this one does just fine. What I've done with this one is I've modified it just a little bit by taping a spoke on each side, and that way it'll extend all the way up to the top of the femur, which I'll show you as we do this method. Now, just a disclaimer, I am not a professional bike fitter. I just have a lot of experience riding and setting my saddle height. I would highly recommend, if you have the opportunity, to get a professional bike fit. Other than the goniometer, the only other thing that you'll need for this is a little bit of electrical tape, but it's not required. A couple things that I want to mention before I show you this method. First of all, this works for all styles of bikes, whether it's mountain, cross, road, gravel. And yes, this does apply if you have a dropper seat post, because when the dropper seat post is fully extended, you want it at the saddle height that I'll show you in this video to get maximum power transfer for the climbs. Finally, it does help to have a stationary trainer to do this, but it's definitely not required. If you don't have one, you can just lean up against the wall or hold on to something. Before we start, I do recommend that you spend just for about 30 seconds to get settled into your riding position. And now an optional step that I do recommend is using the heel method to kind of get you in the ballpark so we can start our measurements. So Dawson's knee is way too bent with the heel method, and I'll link the heel method below. I'm not going to really show it in this video. If you want to watch that, it's only a few minutes, but we're going to raise the saddle now to get the knee straight. Now we've got the leg straight with the heel on the pedal. That gives us a really good starting point. Now I'm going to have him spin one more time, and I'm going to watch his heel. I'm going to see if he likes to pedal with his heel up or flat. So I've noticed that Dawson likes to pedal with his heel a little up, so when I take my measurement, I'm going to have his heel just slightly raised. The three measuring points that we're going to use are the top of the femur, where this bone sticks out on the side of the hip, the bottom of the femur, where this little bone sticks out on the side of the knee, and then the ankle bone. And this is where I'll use my electrical tape. I'm just going to mark those to make it easier when I take my measurements. Now I've got these points marked with the electrical tape: top of the femur, bottom of the femur, and the ankle bone, and we're ready to take our measurement. So you want to put the foot at the bottom of the pedal stroke, and you want to have the crank in line with the seat tube, so it's going to be about the 7 o'clock position, or it could be the 5 o'clock position, depending on what side of the bike you're on. So that's about right here. Again, the crank kind of in line with the seat tube. And if you're on a mountain bike with hydroform tubes, then you're just going to have to kind of look and see, have the crank kind of in line with a seat tube, if there were one there, going straight up to the saddle. Now I'm going to have Dawson be in his normal riding position, so either on the hoods or the drops, it doesn't matter a whole lot. And now I'm going to set his heel just a little raised. If someone likes to pedal with their heel flat, then you want to have it be flat, but he likes his heel just up a little bit. And I'm going to have him bend his knee as much as he can by keeping his heel about in that position, and I'll take my measurement. So the middle of the goniometer goes right on this point next to the knee, which is the bottom of the femur. Then I'll have the goniometer come up to the top of the femur and then the ankle bone. And we get a measurement of 35 degrees. So your optimal saddle height is going to be between 25 and 35 degrees. I always aim for about 30. And then you can adjust up or down depending on what feels the most comfortable, but you don't want to go beyond that 25 to 35 degree range. As a general rule, 1 millimeter equals 1 degree. So if you need to increase the angle, in other words, you need to lower the saddle, say you want to go 4 degrees, then you're going to lower the saddle 4 millimeters. Likewise, if you need to decrease the angle by, let's say, 5 degrees, then you're going to raise the saddle 5 millimeters. So since we're aiming for 30 degrees and he's at 35, I'm going to raise his saddle 5 millimeters. So I raise the saddle 5 millimeters. I'm going to have him spin for about 30 seconds, and then we'll take another measurement. Again, crank in line with the seat tube, heel raised just a little bit for him. And we're going to take one more measurement. Okay, now he's right at 30 degrees, so this is where we're going to leave his saddle. Here's a tip. I recommend taking a measurement of your saddle height, so in case you have to take your seat post out of your bike, or if you have multiple bikes and you want to carry this over, I always measure from the top of the pedal right to the middle of the saddle rails. So for this case, it's 95. So that is how you set your saddle height using the goniometer. Of the three methods that I've shown on my YouTube channel, the heel method, the 109% method, and now the goniometer method, this one is the most accurate because it takes out other variables such as foot length and fore-aft position of your saddle. Any questions or comments that you have about this video, drop those below. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so and hit the bell icon so that you're notified when I upload other videos such as bike maintenance, tech tips, and bike reviews. Thanks for watching.